Greetings, everyone. Sorry, just when I was going on, I was cut off. My computer shut down. Amazing. All the shows I've been doing with Tina Bird and myself have been getting lots of interference. I wonder why. All right, I hope you read the title. I know a lot of people might not like the title or might not want to understand the truth about it. I don't know where we should start. Let's start with rich people. All right. Uh, Realize there's about 4% of the planet are multi-millionaires and billionaires, all right? Then we have about 6% that are middle class, which means like under $50,000. And then we have poor, poverty, homeless, all right? When they say, well, we got 1 million followers, big deal. What population, where, what part of the United States, and things like that. But rich people, all of them, think they have the ability to control other people. All right. The richest ones, I'd say the top four richest people, are doing many things because they think they can control the world. And I'm not just saying the United States or Russia or China, but the whole world. Thinking they could create something better than where we are by how, what, and what means. Now, what do they do with their money? Hoard it, first off. Now, we're going to go into great details about that, but okay, you hoard your money. And I mean, like people like Musk spending lots of money, buying everything up he can. Gates buying all the land in the United States, farmland. He wants to eliminate cows so we can eat crickets and other things for dinner. Really? You know, these people, and I'm going to tell you something outrageous. I don't know if you saw the picture on the cover of the show. Okay, Oprah and Trump were good buddies when he was younger. Now he's going after Oprah. All right? He's going after everybody, but that's besides the point. But these people claim to be rich, which they are. And what do they do with their money? They sure don't give it to people in a great way. When Oprah donates money, she donates $1 million. When people donate money, it's $1 million. But when you're a billionaire, what's $1 million to that? A tax write-off. And it helps him greatly. So now, what about family? If you're a billionaire and you're hoarding all your money, what about your family? People like Musk has 14 children. I write to him. I've been trying to get in touch with the real Musk for the past 6 months, dealing with about 10 different fake Musks. All right. And I said, look, I write the same thing to a lot of them, but who knows if any of them are real, which they probably aren't. And basically, I say, look, you got 14 children. Are you with them? Do you take care of them? Do you meet with them? Do you work with them? They're your children. They're your army you're growing. Do you care about them more than the people of the planet? And super technology, like that's going to help mankind? All right. Rich people do not care about poor people. They do not care about sick people. They don't want to live next to those kind of people either. They think they're better. Now, I'm going to add another thing to rich people. People with a title. President is a title. Doctor, lawyer. Those kind of titles make people think they're better than us. Normal people. People without a super title. I use Reverend just because I was getting into marrying people and doing exorcisms and things. But, you know, they want to say, well, what kind of degree do you have? Well, you don't need a degree to be anything. A reverend, preacher, minister, rabbi. And the other thing is, guess what, people? God doesn't appoint them. I don't care what they say, what they do. And it's passed down by another man. Like he has the right to say, oh, you're a spiritual person. Now, we're going to get into spiritual a little bit later. I want to just stick with money for a while. You know, Mr. Rumpo wants to save money and give it to the rich. He did meetings in front of hundreds of rich people saying, oh, I'm going to cut your taxes. I'm going to. And what's he do to the poor people? I'm going to take away all your medical, all your money, all your funds, everything. Now, anybody that voted for him is starting to see his true colors. I mean, but he wasn't a liar. One thing he said he didn't lie about. I am going to be a dictator from day one. And he is. If you follow any dictator, even his parade showed what a other person in another country would do. Have a parade of all their weapons and brag about it. Russia, China, all right? But guess what? They're not even promoting the important things that the United States has, which is Trump probably has no clue about even. All right, I'm not going to get into that. Maybe at the end I will think about it. But right now, we're taking away all citizens' rights, taking away all they can from them, every kind of aspect of their life away, even schooling, childcare, things like that. Well, why would take childcare away? Why would take medical away? Well, take people that don't belong on it off. Well, that's something. I mean, it's an iffy, but between people. But I think most people voted for him because he said he's going to stop the people from coming into our country. Well, I look at it a little bit different. We are all people. We're all human. And when he says bad people, who's he talking about? How many people are bad that are coming into the country? Really? You know, nobody does anything about probably one of the worst gangs in the United States called the Crips and the Bloods. And they've been here for a long time. And nobody talks about that. I can tell you what they do to get in and out of the club and all that kind of stuff. It's horrible. But that's one thing. The gangs, we have multiple gangs, all right? And they don't do much about that either. But now, when we talk about other things outside of gangs, I'm going to tell you one of the worst things where the government spends more money than the poor people. Prisoners. You know what it costs to keep a prisoner in jail for a year? The average prisoner, depending on the jail, is anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000 a year for each one of them. Okay? They're going to spend that money for a prisoner while they spend how much on a poor person? How much does an average poor, low-income person make in a year? $11,000? Do you see any kind of comparison there, people? Are you that ignorant? Of course you are. It wouldn't be happening if you had any cares about what's really happening. You'd be protesting it. I tried it wherever I can. I try to bring the truth out. But few people want the truth. Oh, Trump's building a wall. His first presidency. Well, where's the wall? How much did it really help? You know, a wall is only a wall. You can go under it or over it. First off, if it was 100 feet high, you go under it. If it's 10 feet high, you go over it. So what was a wall going to do? I mean, they should have robots and drones flying back and forth across it, not people either. So I have my brother's nephew worked there on the wall where they were coming across. Do you know how many thousands of people were dying trying to get to that place across? The other side would take them halfway to the desert, drop them off, and then go back, pick more people up, get the money from those people, and drive them halfway out into the desert and leave them there. These people were left out in the desert with no money, no food, and guess what? They died. There was so many people dying, and this wasn't just bad people. But you know, when Trump says, "Oh, these are all bad people," did they go to court? Did you prove they're bad? In the United States, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Does that exist? Does anybody understand what that means? Well, the Constitution's a bunch of bull. I'd love to curse my brains out because it just makes me sick how ignorant most people are. Why would you vote for a president that wants to take everything you have away and give it to the rich? Now, let's get back to the rich people. They spend their money on what? Boats, cars, pools, property. All right? How many people that are rich spending more of their money helping people? Now, if those rich people were saying they were spiritual or religious, now there's a definition difference between both of them, but if they were saying they were either one of them, what would it mean? Well, let's stick with religion first. If you say you're religious, all right, whatever religion it is, do you follow it? Really? Do you really follow your religion? Do you know what your religion's about? I mean, if you believe in the Bible, did you ever read it from cover to cover? And you should. And then you could read Revelations 3 times and you might learn something really, really important. But if you don't read the Bible, you hear a couple words and say, well, I'm protected, I'm going to be excused, I don't have to worry about karma, I don't have to worry about these things. You're delusional. All right, you're protected. Jesus never talked about that, ever. And when he talked to the poor people, the fishermen, the farmers, the people that had very little vocabulary and things like that, he had to say simple things like Father instead of God. Realize they had multiple gods then. I mean, go back all in history, there was multiple gods. The Egyptians, the Mayans, the Aztecs, all right, had multiple gods. The only time, and I'm telling you, you don't have to believe this, when there was one God was when Atlantis was here. But the thing about God, he put everybody on this planet or any other world with free will, meaning you could do what you want. Now, if he wanted everybody to be loving beings, we would all be that. Oh, no. Well, he protects you. In what way do you think God protects you? In the way Jesus said, eternal life. Do you understand what that means? He had to die. He couldn't live. He had to show his people what he was teaching. All right, if he didn't die, nobody would know what eternal life really meant. All right, the idea that he did come back and he didn't walk around physical body and all that kind of stuff, and that's also baloney. I mean, the idea of who he was, what he was when he came back. But we all have the ability to live forever. But you know, Jesus said, follow God, give to God all you can, and you'll have eternal life. And you don't, you'll lose it. Life means this body. And what that means, you're going to reincarnate back into a new body with the same ignorance that you had in this body until you learn something better. If you're stuck on what keeps most people here, 5 passions, all right, I mean, it's different for rich people than normal people. Lust, greed, anger, vanity, and attachment is one spiritual way of saying it. I say drinking, smoking, drugs, cheap thrills, sports, and cheap sex. All right. But the number one thing that keeps most people coming back to this planet, which is a lie, is attachment. Thinking you're going to come back into your family. Even if you did, they would never know who you are. And neither would you. All right. Very few souls are aware of their past lives. And if they're aware of any, they're aware of 1 or 2, maybe. I hate to say it, I'm aware of all mine, all the way back to Atlantis. Don't believe me? That's your choice. It's just my truth. But in that time frame, all my lifetimes, 99% of them were useless. You do the same thing, whether you're a priest, minister, rabbi, killer, murder, all those things don't help you grow spiritually. Now, when we go into religion, we talk about churches. What did church teach you about God? The only thing that they teach is a bunch of lies. It's protective, forgiving, and loving. All right. As a father, would you let your child run across the street and get hit by a car? Would you throw him out a window to see how he feels when he hits the ground? What would you do if you were a father of a child? Well, if God was a loving God, which people assume it is, it wouldn't be putting us in this kind of situation to begin with. All right. But when Jesus spoke about what God teaches and what God is and all that, it was about soul. And Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost is what you hear in most churches, but it's not about soul. You are a soul in a body. You are the soul. You are not the body. It's just like your mind is like a computer. All right. It's programmed, and whatever it's fed, it learns, and that's what it knows. But your soul is aware of its past lives. But the separation between mind and soul are different. Buddha teaches the opposite. Everything's mind. You can believe that. You can believe his higher where you go when you die and go to the bardo and then you reincarnate and all that. Buddha, there was 4 Buddhas and none of them ever talked about a real God. All through history, as far back as you want to go, the Egyptians, Mayans had multiple gods. They were working with deities. When the deities faded away, which they slowly did, aliens came and they were worshiping aliens. All the hieroglyphics in the Egyptian pyramids and stuff are ridiculous about reincarnation. If you want to learn something, look at their definitions and video pictures, pictographs of reincarnation, how they do it, what they do. And then what they were actually taught about reincarnation. Do you know what they do to bodies? Never mind trying to immortalize it, which is impossible. All right? You can believe what you want. The Egyptians weren't spiritual. The Mayans were not spiritual. And the Mayans were so spiritual. The Egyptians, no. Building pyramids doesn't make you spiritual. And how much help did they have building the pyramids? A lot. Okay? Why would you build a building so high for a king, a pharaoh, or anything? You have to think really hard with common sense. People have very little common sense. They're programmed to their ability to think. Thinking you're important, number one. Thinking no matter what you do, you can become more important. And thinking you're better than other people. Now, I wish I could put 100 pictures up of Trump. All his pictures of his sex life and when he was with Jeffrey and when he went to the Playboy Club and was thrown out and things like that. People, you accept a person like that and you really think they care when they abuse women? Anybody that abuses a child or a woman should be put away permanently for life. And then let's get back to jail. They spend all this money for a prisoner, giving them a clean clothes every day, giving them 3 meals a day, giving them TV, sports to play, and things like that. And they even got air conditioning. Why? Because the guards don't want to walk around in a sweaty building and have it smelling so bad. But again, what do homeless people or poor people have? They don't have an air conditioner. They're lucky if they have a TV. They don't have cable. All right? You know, mankind is slowly eliminating poor, sick, and elderly people. Now, I'm just going to throw this in. UN Agenda -30 is all about that. In 5 years, this world will be something that you never could imagine or would have ever wanted. All right, I'm going to go into a couple different things, but just listen if you have any kind of awareness or want it of the truth. All right, religions do horrible things to women. Multiple religions do the same thing. All right, Christianity is a little bit different than Muslims and the Hasidic Jewish people, but you know, cheating and all those kind of words, they fit with all these people. They don't follow a religion. They follow a make-believe path and say they're whatever they're trying to say they are. All right, drinking and smoking and drugs do not fit in. I'm not saying if you need medical drugs is different. Drugs to get high. You know why people get high? Why people drink? They're in a horrible situation. They can't stand where they are. All right. Why do we spend so much money on sports that help nobody? I mean, a family has to take their 3 kids to a game. How much does it cost them? Sports should be free. A fun thing and an exciting thing, but free. When you get paid, it becomes an actual battle. Now, boxing is still alive and well. All the strongman competitions and things like that are pretty bad. I mean, we never got away from the gladiator days and the money they make. All right. Why? People are entertained by pain and suffering. They love to see it. Well, I'm not the only one suffering. But when 2 boxers go into a ring, right before they go into the ring, both of them will pray to God, hey, help me beat this other guy up. Really? Is that what you think God's for? We use things in our own perverted, twisted idea of what God is. Why are we here? Nobody talks about that. Nobody. Nobody can, because they're pretty ignorant to the truth. I do when I do my spiritual classes. This isn't a spiritual class. This is just a know-it-all kind of thing. Learn the truth. Go out there and find it. Look for it. Learn what you're really dealing with. Look what's really happening. Who you want to be friends with, who you don't want to be friends with, where you want to live, where you don't want to live. But when it comes to money, rich people want to be somewhere different than poor people. That's for sure. And they don't want to be paying for the poor people. Oh, wow. Why? There's too many of them. Well, the rich people do not care about lots of things. Oh, I donated 10 million. I donated 5 million. Oh, I donated $1 billion. Out of how many billions did they have? Look at how much money Musk is spending right now on different things. He's buying something else. He's buying this, but he's making this. Now, something you have to realize. Technology does not equal spirituality. All the tech has no connection to spirit. Sorry to tell you that. Technology brings us further and further away from God, not closer to it. Going into space, trying to get closer. When the Tower of Babel, it was all about trying to get up into the sky to get up into God's world. Mankind's doing the same thing. You want to go to Mars. What do you think you're going to find on Mars? I'm not going to tell you, but there's a lot of things on Mars already. But what would it do for mankind? Start a new world? Why? Because we destroyed this one. We're slowly destroying it. Remember, you got 5 years to enjoy whatever you think you can while it's still being taken away every day. Now, all right, that's the word religion. Spirituality is a little bit different. Spirituality is New Age people, meaning not in a specific religion, not claiming to be a religious person, claiming to be one with God, one with the universe. All right, one with the sun, one with the moon, or whatever it is. And that is not spiritual either. All right, well, I'm with the sun, I'm with the moon, and I'm with blah, blah, blah. Okay, spiritual, we're all one. We all are part of the same thing. Well, you can look at it in one way. In a very minute, tiny little way, we are. But do we all become one ever? No. Do we all going to think the same ever? No. And when Buddha taught about the bliss state and all those kind of things, you let go of who you are to become nothingness. If you want to be that, that's your choice. Be in a space of sound and light, which is cool, and never know another thing. Just be that. Everything gets boring in time. Do something over and over 10 times and it's not the same. Go down a roller coaster or a ride or something like that. First 2 times, wow. Third time, oh, this is cool. Fourth time, well, it was pretty good. You get used to things. And men are just as evil in a lot of ways when it comes to women. They get bored with whoever they're with. I'm sure women do too, but in general, men were always the evil people all through history. Women were always slaves, up until the 1900s. Jesus broke the awareness of love, because love didn't exist. You're not going to find the word love anywhere. Compassion, honor, but you're not going to see the word love, because it wasn't about love. Nobody knew anything about it. Men were sacrificing women and children. How could they understand love? So when we talk about spiritual, who are spiritual people? Deepak Chopra, Eckhart Tolle made their name and fame and fortunes through Oprah. Oprah claims a lot of things because she's following Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle. She said she has no karma. Really? People without karma don't live here. But again, Eckhart Tolle and Deepak Chopra cannot talk about a real God. Neither one of them. And they're multi-billionaires already, making money off of poor people believing everything they say, which is nothing. Be the best you can. That's like what all speakers try to tell you. You could be better than what I am right now. How? Make more money. Money is not the answer to spiritual truth, and it never was and never will be. But tell that to a rich person. Tell that to a doctor, a lawyer, anybody that has a name title. Well, I'm doing good work. Saving 10 people, saving 100 people, save 1,000 people. While you let the government make bombs and blow up the whole country. Look what happened in Hawaii. Look what happens in these kind of conditions. Killing, murder. And then in the United States, all these spiritual people, where are they? Religious people, where are they? Children going out with guns. Why do people allow guns? Because, in the Constitution it says, what? Right to bear arms? Here's my bare arms. But here, you know why they allowed white people to carry guns? And this is for real people. I'm not making it up. So they could shoot Native people, scalp them, and get money for it. Men, women, and children. For real. And that went on for a long time. Realize they killed 50 million Native people. All right? The white race and the Spanish helped too. And English. So when you hear about the Constitution, it's another lie. It was made for rich people in the beginning because you weren't allowed to vote if you were poor. All right? And the idea of the Constitution, we don't have any of those rights, really. Freedom of speech. Can I say something like, no, I can't even say it. All right? So where's that? The right to protect your own home. You don't even have that right. Somebody else has the right to come in and tear your house apart. Now what they're doing, because of Mr. Rumpo, they're allowing people to put masks over their face, all right? So when they come in your house, you can't tell who they are. And people don't know who they are. Because they know they would get beat up, shot, and killed if they were caught walking the street. But these people are going in homes, even if it's the wrong home. They strip the house and do everything you want. You're allowing this, people. You allowed it. There's more people that have some kind of feelings and emotions and awareness than the people that have the guns and the weapons and everything else. Now, in the Constitution, Jefferson was trying to push the idea of the form of militia. And the militia meaning to go against the government that's out of control. But who changed that? Mr. Bush, the day after 9/11, said, you are either for us or you're a terrorist. He named 450 groups of people that were terrorist groups, including Greenpeace. All right, you know, when the Greenpeace were fighting these boats coming in our waters, they were arresting Greenpeace, not the Japanese, not anybody else. You know, people, there's a reason why we do the things the way we do. Not you and me, I'm talking about people in government. And if you think Trump is the only person on top of everything, he has these drones and zombies following him. You know, I started doing hypnosis when I was 14. I studied with a famous person called Kreskin. Not big, but I learned and everything from him. But he used the word, the power of suggestion. He said Hitler controlled his country by saying things over and over to his people. Now, before Trump was elected, he was on TV, 100 times a day? Every single day? Was any other president ever trying to do that before or after? You know, and where did all that money come from? Musk giving him, $30 million a month? How much did he bribe people? Actually showing he gave millions of dollars to people to vote for Trump, and that was legal? And they didn't do anything about the system because of that? Now, just to think, you don't think he could have went in where they count the votes and say, hey, look, buddy, I'll give you 10 billion, not 10 billion, let's make it 10 million, just to count a little off. I would say they should check every single person that was counting votes, their family and their families, and see if there's any money hidden anywhere. Big amounts of money. All right? The governments are corrupt. Getting back to the Constitution. George Washington was an evil person, but he was psychic. Was he spiritual? Being psychic doesn't make you spiritual. All right. He was able to do remote viewing. I don't know if you know what that means, being able to leave your body and look around. Well, he did that when he was attacking an army. He could see where they are. I can go into the facts, why I know it for a fact, but I'm not. I worked in a Juma mansion, all right, where he actually had his headquarters and his daughter lived afterwards. I'm not going to go into that, but basically, he was evil. Every time he gave the right to let a tribe live, he gave the orders to kill 2 other tribes. There was over 500 tribes in the United States. I mean, there's many tribes left, but like very few people in each one of them. Now, even the native people thought they can overcome the problem, but even when they went into a sweat lodge and they said we're going to do prayers, the white man called it the peace. That had nothing to do with peace. It had to do with prayer, right? Because they smoked a pipe. Oh, we're in peace now. No, we're not. We're praying to God. All right. So, everything was twisted, and then they stole part of the Constitution from the native people. Why do you think there's an eagle representing the Constitution? Why do you think there's arrows in the eagle's paws, talons? All right. A lot of things were taken from the native people, and then they were outcast from the Constitution. And if they're on a reservation, they're still kind of outlaws, sadly to say. I'm not going to go into that either. But if you ever try to look at the facts and analyze why things are happening, there's a gun company. I was dealing with knives and different things from them. But they're making knives with Trump on it, hats, and you name it. A gun company. All right. Why? Because he supports guns. And people that have guns want to be supported by having a gun. And why do you think people want to have a gun? Think about it. What would be the main reason to have a gun in your house? In case somebody broke in. All right. There's many simpler weapons that don't kill people. You don't got to kill people because they're coming into your house. I mean, there's alarms and different things that would stop them before they even get in your house. But a gun, a lot of people think when the government goes crazy, they can fight their way out of that too. No, they can't. If they're coming after you, they're going to come in with FEMA, SWAT, whatever. You think you can have a gun and shoot them all? And what do you think when they get you? What are they going to do? Shoot you. People don't think why. If they eliminated guns in the United States, all right, crime would drop incredibly. If you put not the death sentence, because that's not right either, a 25 or 50-year sentence on having a gun, nobody's going to walk around with a gun. All right? But people don't want the truth. They want to deal with what they feel is right for themselves. Not what's right for the people, not what's right for the world. And like in government, now Putin's meeting Trump. Why doesn't Trump just kill Putin? It'll start a war. Well, we just took the most evil person out. Bad people respect bad people. Bad people don't respect good people. Do you understand that? Try to think about that for a second. Why in an army they put all the little kids out there fighting? Vietnam, they were 17 on our side? 14 in Vietnam? And we were killing each other? For what reason? All right, government people are pretty brain dead. Sorry to say that because they don't care. And you think like this bill that Trump passed, what was it? How many pages? You think any one of those people read every page? They'd be falling asleep after the first 10 pages. Never mind reading all these things and stuff and memorizing any of it. People, you're so conditioned to negative and believing negative so positive. But look at reality. Look what's going to happen to the world. polluted water, polluted air, polluted grounds, all our forests sold out, all our land sold out. What do you want? Do you want anything important? Now, for a person that says global warming doesn't exist is ignorant to why and how it exists and what happens. Now, two things that are important. They don't tell you the real reasons why we have global warming. I write to all those organizations and companies telling them what's wrong. Why don't they talk about it? And they still don't. There's reasons, people. But today, the sun's going to have a solar flare that's going to cause an aurora borealis. You know what an aurora borealis is? Radiation waves. But what it's going to do to the planet? Nobody's going to talk about that either. You don't hear the facts. Science is a one-way deal to make money. The drugs they pawn on us do not cure disease. Very few of them cure anything. Prolong it. That's what they do. All right? They don't want to cure it. Medical companies, if they cured everybody, nobody would come. There's two simple cures for cancer. And they do it in other countries, and I'm not going to say it because I'll lose my show. But there are. Real simple and real cheap. But they won't do it in the United States. And it's hard to find people that would really do it anyway, but that's besides the point. But people, you're so brain dead, so programmed to believe sports is important. You know, drugs are important. Drinking's important. The outlaw marijuana was kind of legal in the beginning. And then they were trying to stop liquor. But they realized how much money they could make off of liquor, so they outlawed marijuana. So liquor's about money. And then cigarettes were created for what reason? Money. Do cigarettes help you in any way? Calm your nerves maybe, but there's better things to take than that. So think about where and why we're going in the direction we are. Now, spiritual people believe everything's getting better. Now, I'm involved in the UFO world all my life, and I've been dealing with really horrible things that are going on. All right, and that's why I've been trying to deal with a few different people. I lost 16 friends that were taken out because they were exposing truth. And truth is not allowed to come out. Not in this world. Eisenhower and Truman decided, no, the world's not going to know about aliens. All right, then MJ-12 was created. Now, let's go a little bit further. Underground cities. Do you know how many there are in the United States? And there's about 10,000 in each one of them? Do you understand that? Could you imagine that? No, it's impossible. Jesse Ventura exposed that on public TV years ago. Then he also exposed where the new home of the New World Order is. It's in the Ozarks. We got like a 6 or 8 foot wall around it, guards around it, and it's right on top of an underground city. All right. You don't hear anything about that. And now another thing that you can pull up. Now this is, you can do it yourself. You don't need me to do it. Go online. Start checking out what they found in Denver Airport. All right. There's many facts about it. Behold the Pale Horse is a book you should read if you want to know what was really going on at Denver Airport. It's the home of the New World Order Army base, Air Force base. All right. And it was in the floor. I went there. I was standing on it, and in steel, about maybe 30 feet wide. It's a U.S. Air Force New World Order. And it was in the floor. And then he had this capstone with pictures of the presidents and trophies and all that kind of stuff. On the second floor, I'm pretty sure it's still there, a little plaque this big says U.S. Air Force New World Order, but it's only this big on the second floor. I went up there and took a picture of the flooring. Well, 2 weeks later, my computer was hacked, and I lost the only pictures of that. Millions and millions of people walked over that, never took a picture of it. All right? Even the person that wrote Behold the Pale Horse didn't even have a picture of that. I mean, I went back 2 years later, and I couldn't find where that was. I said, I thought it was right here. And how I found it, there was a whole bunch of people sitting on the floor. And I walked over, was anybody working here a while ago? And they said, oh, no, we're all new hires. They fired everybody that worked there. I'm walking away, and the kid comes on. Well, I used to work here, but I got back in. I said, when was the metal flooring that said U.S. New World Order? And he says, right there where the fountain is now. I mean, a big circle fountain there, right in the middle, right near where you buy your tickets and everything. So they removed it. The New World Order, people, and this is real. They have to tell you what they do before they do it. They don't have to make sure you learn or understand it, but they'll tell you what they're going to do. All right. They put it there. Everybody walked over it. They had 4 giant murals in Denver Airport of 4 different tribal babies dead in a coffin. And this is for real. You can still pull one in a couple pictures up that were, one of them still there. But one was a Jewish baby, black baby, native baby. All right. Again, what was going on there? All right. Now, if you notice, I don't want to go into that. That's a whole story. And it's based on what's overriding rich people. Rich people think they're going to get away. Well, these people want the rich people to pay for everything in the future because they'll have all the money. Poor people will never help them do anything. So, yeah, we don't need them. The alien thing, they don't need 8 billion people either. They need food and things, but they don't need 8 billion people. So why feed 4 billion people when we don't even need them? Think about it. Think what you're worth to the government. You're worth something to your family, and that is it. Now, what are you worth to God? What do you do for God? Pray? Pray for world peace? Really? Prayer is mostly ridiculous, useless. I mean, it gives you satisfaction of like you're doing something, but you're not. You know, it gets worse. I think the most religious place on the planet was Tibet. They pray all day. They're homeless. They live in the streets praying all the time. And guess what happened to them? They beg for help and beg for help and beg for help. Years ago, not that long ago, China went in there, destroyed all the temples, killed most of the lamas, put a lot of them in jail, raped all the women. It's China now. It's not Tibet. So people, they beg for our help, and the United States only helps people they can get things back. Look at Trump. You can't give me anything, I'm not going to give you anything. It's not about caring. It's not about love. It's not about any of those words. And we have become a call hell. And this is as bad and as low as you can go, people. If you think when you die you're going to go to hell, what do you think could be worse than this? Oh, they can be. Dante's Inferno talked about the different levels of hell. Well, when you leave your body, this body dies and you're going to where you think maybe heaven or hell. Well, imagine this. You're an astral body. Can't be burnt, can't be shot, can't be cut up. So what would you be afraid of? Nothing, because now you're eternal. So the idea of going to hell would be coming back to planet Earth again. This is the only place you can feel pain, create pain, see suffering. You can't kill people on the astral plane, just so you know, if you get to stay there, or even when you get there for a while. People don't want to talk about the truth behind that. I'm going back and forth because everything's like this anyway. When religions think about when they die, they're going to go to heaven and be with their family. Why do you think God would have you die here to go somewhere else to be doing the same thing? In a different form of a body, not a physical body. Your astral body is a lot finer. And why would you want to be with your one family? You reincarnated hundreds of times, people, every one of us. And you know what you know right now is the maximum all that time that you spent here. Very little about anything. Oh, I can get married, have children, buy a house, buy a car, buy a boat. What else? Save somebody from being drowning or what? Drop a bomb on a country? Well, you're totally wrong. You have multiple lives. multiple families, multiple lifetimes, and even if you got married 3 times in this lifetime, who do you think you're going to be with when you die? Which one of them? Oh, maybe the middle one. Or how about all of them? Well, one religion believes they're going to be with 100 virgins, and they're going to be hard sexually to satisfy them all. You know, the fantasy man creates for himself to get along in life. Drugs help a lot for people like that. All right. The truth is, you're going to be here on planet Earth until you understand the truth about who and what you really are and where you're going to go when you leave. Without that knowledge, on your dying bed, you're going to be thinking really hard. God help me, Jesus help me, I'm coming, really? And then the idea that Jesus is going to come back. Delusional people. You know, if you're in a country and they all turn against you and kill you, would you want to go back there? Why? Who would you want to save then? Even your disciples turn against you. Would you want to go back and save them? Maybe if they became a little mature, more aware. All right, we do make mistakes, but how many people do you think Jesus would come back to save? These people want to believe that they're worth saving. Why? What are you doing for God? If you don't know what God is, looks like, or dwells, how can you do something for it? And I call it it. God it. All right. What would you do for it? Well, donate to a charity. And charities give their money to who? The people that run the charity. How much money goes to the people? Now, if you donate to a native reservation, they don't even get the money. I don't want to go into all the facts. They're all sick and disgusting, people. Whatever you believe is delusional. Whatever you're told is a lie. In the United States, they never told you any truth about Native history. Other countries know more about Native truth than what the people in the United States do, and I'm serious about that. All right, the English and the British and the Spanish were the greatest man killers. Native killers in the United States, yes. But again, they killed the Quakers. They burned witches. They killed anybody they didn't like. And if you don't fit into their thing, now getting to a title, president, vice president, government, governor, doctor, lawyer, psychiatrist, and words like that. What do they know about God? Nothing. What are they going to teach you about life? A programmed idea of living. How? In a programmed world. And AI is going to take admitted that recently. It will. But again, people, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What do you want to do before you die, which you will? You could take a pill and live another 25 years, 50 years. Will that help you? What? What are you going to do in another 50 years? Same old thing? Eat the same old food? Everything's toxic. Everything's becoming more toxic. Everything you eat is a toxic food, really. When they put chlorine and fluoride in water, that's chlorofluorocarbons, which is poison. All right, and they knew it. After the war, they had all this chemicals, barrels and barrels of fluoride. What can they do with it? So they paid a couple doctors to say it's good for your teeth, even though it was poison, because they couldn't dump it anywhere legally. So if you can't dump it, let's make it usable. People, there's truth behind everything you think you know. And it's definitely not what you think you know. The UFO world's coming down on us incredibly hard. And you'll see it soon enough. I waited all my life for people to realize that there's something beyond this world. Wow. Life beyond this world? That there's real alien races coming here and what they're doing. But that'll happen soon, a couple years max. It might even be this year or next year. But who's controlling everything? Well, You should be a little aware of what's going on. Now, in the UFO world, a lot of the speakers are just dealing with saying UFOs are real. And then you got a person named Stephen Greer who's trying to say that most of them are Chinese and government ships and blah, blah, blah. All right, people, that's lies. Everything you hear is a lie about what's going to happen in the future. I mean, it's not like people know what the future is, but I had a friend, top psychic in the United States, in the UFO world, predicted 9/11 in detail 1 year before it happened. Complete detail. But I ended my friendship with him for a couple of years because he didn't do anything about it. The day it happened, he was out doing something stupid. I said, "Why aren't you in front of the trade center? At least trying." I mean, instead of like, I gave you the prophecy. Well, a prophecy for anybody that's trying to do prophecies. You need to realize there's a reason for a prophecy. It's to stop something, not to brag about doing something. I had another friend said he predicted parts of it and blah, blah, blah. But again, people, if you're going to prophesize that this car is going to blow up tomorrow, stand by it and say, please don't go in it. I'm telling you, I'm begging you, don't go in it. At least try. Otherwise, you wouldn't have got the prophecy in the beginning. Look at Nostradamus. He told the people what was going to happen, and they still did it and still died and things like that. People, you want to believe in something. Believe in yourself that you can find God within here, not out there. Nobody out there is going to give you anything important about God, not even me. I can give you techniques to work with and things you need to do, but I can't take you to God. If you truly don't want it, it will never happen. If you're afraid to see God, you will never see it. If you're afraid to meet your angel, that'll never happen either. Another thing you have to learn how to do. You all have angels or spiritual guides, whatever word you want to give them, but they are there. And there's more of them than the people on the planet, believe it or not. But they stay there for a period of time, and then if you don't communicate with them or listen or anything, they slowly drift away. And then it's that much harder to even get closer to the truth. Well, people, there's things you've got to learn. And the first thing I'll tell you is the most important is learning how to leave your body. All right? And I'm going to suggest two things. It takes practice and time and commitment continuously. But second of all, don't get attached to drugs. Drugs will bring you into a different level, thinking you're everywhere you want to be and all that kind of stuff, but you won't be where you truly believe or think you are. God doesn't say you have to do drugs to come see me. All right? But you don't get to see God too easy anyway, but that's besides the point. But to get into the higher realms, which Jesus spoke about, is the most important thing to learn. The Tibetans, I mean, there's levels, and each realm, including the physical planet, has multiple dimensions. Those dimensions don't go into God's worlds. People, I spend studying and doing things that most people would never do or try to do. But by that, you get knowledge. Pain and suffering, like weightlifting, if you don't get any pain or suffering, you don't get any muscle. You have to put in the energy and the time to do anything. You have to respect it, honor it, but you can't force it. To find God is not that complicated, really. All right? But not your ego of God. God's not there, hey, oh, now I'm going to protect you. Now nothing's going to happen to you. You're going to die. Some bad way. You don't die in a good way ever. Oh, unless you are aware, totally aware, and attain God realization, you could step out of your body and stay out of it. Not because you had a car accident, not because somebody was beating you up or something like that, because you just said, close my eyes, and you see yourself as soul, and then leave the body. You leave your body through a couple of different ways, but here is one of the main ways. Here, throat, your stomach. But you leave your body. And that's the first step. And then you can meet your guides, your angels, or whatever, and learn the truth about where soul goes, not where body goes. Body goes back into the ground. Body goes back into hell. What we made it. Earth was perfect. Atlantis was perfect, people. It was the Garden of Eden until beings came down and destroyed it. See, God doesn't control this world, but it created it for a reason. So any soul that leaves the lower realms becomes spiritual. Not in their mind, not in their imagination, but as a being of light and can radiate it. Now, just so you know, when you go into these next worlds, you have to be that. Well, I'm spiritual. I'm this. No, you have to radiate the light and sound of that realm. And tell you the truth, I've walked this planet for 72 years. And I only saw a few people that radiated light at any great level. All right. So don't say, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to. No, all you can do is start trying, start focusing, and bring that reality into your life. Money is not going to help you with anything. It's not going to help the world. Science is not going to help the world. Science saying they found the God energy, God spark, and all that. Another bull story. The Shroud of Turin has never been proven either way. All right. Jesus had to die. But again, all the stories that he left and he didn't die and all that, he had to die. If I want to teach you about what happens after you die, if I don't have to do that, what are you going to know about it? Well, you turn into a balloon and float away. I can tell you anything. But if I don't prove it to you, it's totally useless. And sadly, Mary Magdalene knew everything Jesus did. Seriously, people, she finished teaching the disciples. Not Jesus. Mary did, not Mary, the mother of Jesus, Mary Magdalene. She went through ascension, which Jesus did. And nobody on this planet went through ascension. You know, all the bull stories you hear, man, that makes me so mad. I went through ascension. Yeah. Can you levitate a car? Can you step out of your body and move something over there? Can you do anything? Any of the 32 psychic abilities? There's 32. I mean, if you pull up psychic abilities, they had about 120, but throwing bones on the ground, ash and different things, tea leaves, but I mean psychic abilities. Levitation, clairvoyance, audio clairvoyance, and things like that. I call the number one thing soul travel. Being able to leave your body, totally aware of soul, and get out of the lower realm, which is the highest you can attain in this reality, just so you know. And I'm not talking about the third dimension of this reality, fourth dimension of this reality, sixth dimension. There's 9. There's 3 realities, and each one has 3 within that. That's where you get the 369 idea. All right, but beyond that, beyond the physical reality, this is called the astral plane, which is where all soul goes when it dies. You heard the story, I met St. Peter and all those kind of stories. Well, if it's on the astral plane, not that you're going to meet St. Peter, but you will get judged and be reincarnating within 5 to 10 years. Unless you attained awareness, which you probably will never, not in this lifetime. Not if you're still doing drugs, smoking, drinking. And never mind not looking for a God, a real God. Not a storybook God, not a Bible story of God, but a real God. What does God want of you as a soul to become aware? So that you don't have to stay in this physical body. It's useless in the next realm. And all the realms beyond that. You become much lighter and become a light. What do you need this body for? Sex, drinking, partying. But outside of that, really? Think about it. All right, people, I'm going to end it. I hope you got something out of today. Fellow rich people, Jesus said this 3 times in the Bible. Serious, read it. Read the Bible. It's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. Why would he say that? Especially in those days. How many rich people were around? All right. So think about the truth and think about the lies in the Bible. I'm sorry. It's about 80% lies. The other part, history and time frames are kind of real, but the things that will happen in our lives, Jesus never said he was God. Ever. The one sentence in the Bible it says, God and I are one, he didn't mean I am God. He never said that. Ever. On the cross when he was dying, he never said that. Did he? All right? He wouldn't be worried about dying. He wouldn't be suffering. And all those things, people, are programmed images in your brain and your subconscious, and you believe it. And if you die believing that, you're never going to find the truth in this lifetime. So with that, people, don't think you got it all, no matter how rich you are. The more money you have pulls you further away from God. Seriously. Because if you're a rich asshole standing out there with billions of dollars and little children down the corner of your block or next block over and starving, and you don't feed them, you think you're a good person? Now, a couple of these rich people could take care of the United States, build centers and for homeless children and things, and do a lot of incredible things to make this world better, which we don't. Well, we need a ship to go to Mars and build a city on Mars, and all that money wasted. And Trump says, "Oh, I want a flag on Mars." Money. Well, sorry, I'm going to tell you one more thing. United States built the spaceship. It has many weapons on it created by Tesla, and it cost $44 billion. Think about that. Think about the underground cities. Think about the New World Order. Think about the things that are real, and you don't hear anything about it. Well, peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life, don't stop short. Don't follow the lies. Break it down. Look for the truth, the real truth. It's there if you're willing to look for it, people.